Hi, you lovely people. We had to go for a break. We were coming to the end of making the pattern for the back of the dress here. So I just want to finish it up just to before we go on to the sleeve. So here we are, we're back again, and this is where we left off. I was showing you how to add the seam allowance to your side and put your grain lines on, and this is the center back, and that is complete now. So all we have to do is cut those out. So I'll just put that on one side, and I just want to complete the dress by doing the back and the front of the facing for the front and the back of the dress, and then we will just show you again how to do the flounce, the frill on the bottom of the skirt, because it's exactly the same as the front. The only thing we have to make sure is that it fits onto the back section. So we'll just run through that, and hope you'll come along with me and follow me as we go through this. So there we have the side back and the center back pieces, and all we do is we go back to our draft, which is here. We've got the front draft, the back draft, and as I said, you don't get rid of that until you complete your the whole of your patterns. So what we're going to do is to create the facing for the neck, back and front. So what we do is we're going to get our draft, and we're going to got another sheet of paper, but I've folded it along the edge here, and what I've already marked it off, but just to show you, recap, we place that on the fold edge of the paper, and then we trace off, which we've done with the tracing wheel. We trace off there right across to the end of the sleeve, and then we trace down the armhole a bit past the balance mark, and then we remove that pattern piece, and then we just measure down 3.5 to 4 inches the depth of the facing we want, and then we just mark the lines across. So that is now your facing. We do exactly the same on the front. We place that to the fold edge, and we trace off onto a new sheet of paper that section of the neckline down the armhole again, and then we remove the draft, and we measure down the same distance of the facing on the back, and then we mark the line across like that. So now these two pieces are the facing. We've got the back neck facing, we've got the front neck facing, and we cut one, and also cut a fuse, a stiffening, so that we have a lovely neckline. So those are the pattern pieces that we're going to use for our dress. So we arrive at those from the draft that we have made here. So as you can see, we don't get rid of our draft. Everything is created on our draft, and we make our pattern from the draft. So there we go. We can put the draft there, and we're going to cut these bits out, the front, center back, sorry, the side and the facing, and then we're going to lay them up at a further time when we finish the sleeves. And so that's how we create those. So now what we're going to go on to do is to cap with you how we do the frill for the bottom, but it's exactly the same as we do for the front. So if we go back to our draft, we'll see where we've got this section here at the bottom, which is the same as the front. We're going to trace off that section there. So I'm just going to trace that off quickly so that you'll have an idea of how that is done. So on a new sheet of paper, another piece of paper, if you've got some spare one, I'm going to take that, and I'm going to place that on my sheet of paper, and I'm going to trace off this section here at the bottom along there. It's exactly the same as we did the front, but I just want to recap just to show you it's exactly the same thing, how we arrive at it. We can put our draft away once we got that, and then we just connect up our lines. That's the side. Along there, this is the top that joins to the dress, and this is the center back along here. So what we do again, we're going to divide that up into 3 sections, because what we do is what is called the slash and spread method here. Exactly what we did at the front, we're going to do at the back. 3 into 3 section. We separate them. That's 1, 2, 3, and then this is center back on the fold, right? Because it's single, it's not folded, it's single. So once we've got that, we're going to cut that bit out, and we're going to do exactly the same as we did on the front to arrive at the bottom frill, or flounce you can call it, because it flares out. So that's the piece that we have there, and this will be the center back that we've got. So what we do is we're going to slash and open up on those lines that we have just drawn along there to there, like that. This is just so therapeutic. It just, like, you know, just let you relax when you do this, and you're doing all these different stages. So once we've got that, as you can see, we've got on here, I've got it on a new piece of paper. I'm going to take the facings off here, and we're going to put them over there with the other pieces. And this is on the fold edge here. As you can see, you fold that because we don't want a seam in the back. There's no seam down the back on your frill. So once again, we place that right to on the fold edge, and we secure that once again, whether with a sellotape, a pin, or you can use a weight, prick stick. I'm just going to use a little bit of pricky sticky just to put that there, so it free up your hands to move around, and you're able to, you know, it won't move off your paper. So once again, you can see that we just open out till we get round to there. And once again, I'm going to use my rule, my straight rule, to on the fold here, fold edge. I place that to the fold edge, and it goes out like that. And as you can see, we got the same space in there, same space in there. It's exactly the same as the front, the method. So once you got that, you just mark around the pieces at the top and at the bottom. You'll see that the lines are not round, it's broken in there, broken in there. So what we have to do is to make smooth lines with the curve, or you just do it freehand. So we just mark those bits. So those bits are just guide to tell us that's where we want to go. So once we got that, and we just square the line out through there like that, touching there. So we know that all of that comes round to there like that, and touch that, and we've got the same space flared out there all the way around, and we're ready to go. Then we can remove these bits from our new pattern piece that we have just done. And as you can see, the lines are not, we haven't got a good curve there. So all we have to do is to make sure we get good curves in there. Just follow those round, and they touch till they touch, and give us a nice rounded shape in there. So it's important that if you find yourself not able to do a nice curve, you can use your curve if you've got one with you, because the curves come in very handy. But after years of experience, you're able to do a nice curve yourself. So, you know, sometimes you don't even need to have the curve, but the curves help if you are a beginner. So I'm just going to rub out those broken lines, so you know we've got a good curve. And you do the same thing on the hem. You just follow that round till you touch each, come back touching all those, so you get a nice swing, a nice round. And once you've got that, all we do now is add the seam allowance. So we go around the bottom and we add 1/4 inch because we don't want more than that at the round the hem. And then we have the 1/2 inch on the side, because we do have 1/2 inch on the side on the front. And then we have centimeter, rather. You can have 1/2 inch, but let's work with the centimeter because that's what we've been doing. And you have the centimeter all the way along round this section here. But before you put your seam on, you've got to check to see that your pieces that you've made here, when they join together, so you measure from there right across, omitting the seam, and then you measure around like I showed you. You stand your tape measure around, and it should be the same, that measurement, because this section here is going to join onto here once you've joined them up together. So once you've got that and you're happy with that, all you do is just add your seam allowance around there, which is 1 centimeter again, into this area here. So this is now your back. So you're going to write on there back, hem, or bottom skirt. And you're going to cut one of those. So that is your back. So that completes the back pattern. And again, you can just cut round the edges. I'm going to cut them all out, and then I'm going to show you all the pattern pieces that we have required. So the next thing that we're going to go on to is our sleeves. So we need a fresh sheet of paper. We need our sleeve block. So we're going to come to that